sticking with the theme of working with cables and working independently the left and right arm, I'm going to do an incline bench press with cables. Now there's a few benefits that the cables have here over using such a barbell or a dumbbell. And they are, with independent cables, I get a consistent level of resistance, a pull, stress on the muscle throughout the full range of movement. Now the final benefit that I can think of for working with the cables is that due to that consistent resistance throughout the full range of movement, I always have the same muscle contraction in my chest wherever I am on the movement. That means with a barbell, if I've got it low down here, it's easy. The chest isn't really working until I get beyond this sticking point by which it's really hard, and then I finish off locking out my arms and I'm supporting the weight. My chest goes through different stages of intensity. With the cables, it has that same intensity throughout the full range of movement. Give it a try, and even if you don't, try adding cables in as the last set just to further fatigue that muscle. Let's give it a go. Yep, I can feel the chest working throughout that full range of movement. Now again with body alignment, even though my wrists are coming inwards at the top, which allows me to really focus on the contraction at the top of the movement, I'm then bringing my arms out and back in line so that my wrists are under my elbows. Remember guys, it's about body alignment. As soon as you take that body out of its alignment, like with a car, you're not going to get the full power of the car down if the wheels are out of alignment with each other. Let's take the weight up and do that again, and just hold that contraction at the top a little bit longer to further that fatigue, therefore bringing out more conditioning and definition in the upper chest. Now, what's the variation that you could add to this exercise? Well, again, there's a number. We can move the cables higher or lower, working a different angle of the chest. The same with the bench. This bench has an inclined portion to it, so we can either raise up the bench, which would make it harder. The higher we are sat upright, the more the chest has to work and the more it brings in the shoulders and other parts of the body to help it lift the weight. If we were flat and I'm lifting directly above like I would with a barbell, it's pretty much the chest doing most of the work with some help coming from the triceps and the shoulders. So I'm not directly working the chest here, but I am making it a very efficient exercise for the chest. That's why we don't want to work the smaller muscle groups first, such as the shoulders or the triceps, and then come on to chest. That's how you're going to get the most out of your workout. Just one other variation that you can do, which you can only really do on cables. I mean, you can do them with dumbbells, but you're going to see why it's best left to cables. And that is working independently your left and your right side. Don't even think about doing this with a barbell because, as you can see, it just wouldn't work. With a cable, however, you don't have the weight at the end of the movement. You've got the weight at the bottom. So as long as you're pushing upwards, keeping the body in alignment, you're working that chest. Now the benefit of this is you can go a little bit above and beyond that normal range of movement because you can cross over your left or your right side, depending which side of the chest you are working. Let me give you an example, and you'll see the muscle really having to work much harder than it does when both sides of the body are working. Now, don't think my left side was just not doing anything. My left side has to really stabilize for the right side to get that full movement and contraction in. So perhaps add this in at the end. Fatigue the muscle to the best you can, doing both arms. Allow for a 30-second rest. Drop the weight, because remember, you can't do the same weight on one arm. It's distributed when you use both arms simultaneously at the same time. And this is a great finishing off exercise for a chest press before we move on to the flies, which is the next exercise that we're going to go on to.